Hello everyone, Glieken here, bringing you another KLD draft. Hopefully we might find the draft where we actually go 3-0. Still haven't done that much this format. This has been a strangely annoying format to get into. Looking at our opening pack here, we have an okay rare. Don't mind taking this first, but I don't think I'm going to. There's also Gear Per Guide, which is pretty solid. I'm also looking at Ballista Charger and Prophetic Prism. Ballista Charger is one of the higher upside vehicles to work with, and then Prophetic Prism is just one of my favorite cards in the set. But I think I'm actually going to take Ballista Charger here. I think overall power level, the Cultivator might be stronger, but I do think Ballista Charger is a strong card. There are enough 1 toughness creatures that this just gets rid of, and this keeps us colorless going into our first pick. So I think I'm just going to pick up the nice foil card here. And here, right after saying I'm picking the colorless card to stay open, I think I'm picking the Restoration Gearsmith. This card is just a very powerful effect, especially in the more grindier matchups. Plus the fact that there's not much else. Like, these uncommons aren't exciting. In terms of commons, the only thing that's really comes out is either the Dund Operative, the Roche Vitality, or the Select for Inspection. Cobra is simply okay. Foil Forest is probably next best card. Yeah, we're just gonna take this Restoration Gearsmith here. It's the strongest card in the pack, and it's just kind of a weak pack. Yeah, we'll pick that on up. And then we can go into Eliminate the Competition. There's also a Spireside Infiltrator, Appetite of the Unnatural, and Handicraft are solid. We could also just take that. We don't really want like multiples Ballista Chargers. I mean, actually, they stack pretty well because then we can start getting rid of things with 2 toughness if we can crew multiple of them. But vehicles do not stack well in general. But we're just going to take this Eliminate the Competition. This is a nice card to pick up early, especially after taking a white-black card that we can kind of do more of a token strategy. Get things like Cogworkers Puzzle Knots, or Fabricate cards to try and like go wide and then clear off their board. Yeah, I'm happy to pick up and eliminate here. Probably be following up with a Bruiser. Don't hate the Gearseeker Serpent here. Seed Sculptor is also pretty solid. After picking black card, I wouldn't mind being black-green, splashing white for the Gearsmith. But given that we have a reasonable black card in this pack, we're going to go ahead and take the Bruiser. Here there's Impeccable Timing, Ambitious Aetherborn, and Sky Swirl Harrier. I think we're just going to take the timing here. Goggles is a cheap artifact to go with the Bruiser. Yeah, we wouldn't mind picking up one of these Aetherborns going in a little bit later, but I think we're just going to take the timing here. And here we'll probably just pick up this Fragmentize. Could also look at this Iron League Steed. Puzzle Knot's not awful, Harrier's not awful, but I do like the idea of taking a Fragmentize for the deck. It's also nice that we're just seeing black and white cards going along. Considering even a little bit more than the Steed here. Going forward, I don't think it's strong enough that we want to pick it up here. Yeah, we're just going to take the Fragmentize. Or the Harrier. Fragmentize. Here I think we take Herald over the second Impeccable Time. Oh, there's Tidy Conclusion. We'll just take the Tidy Conclusions. These two, and there's a third blue one, uncommon. I swear, just the same print run. Whenever you'll see a Master of Inquiries, you'll likely also see a Ceremonious Rejection. Yeah, the fact that we're seeing these white and black cards are sweet. I'm definitely going to pick up this Tidy Conclusion. Looking to be a solid white-black control deck. And would not mind one of these Sky Swirl Harriers we're seeing to come back around. Here we'll pick up a Malthus squad. That follows the theme of going wider with the eliminate the competition. Also, Fragmentize loses value the more you get them. Would not mind necessarily having options for more than one. But we'll just take the Malthus squad here. Seeing these red cards, these are very solid red cards as well. But when we're in black, we're not going to take a solid new color card over a decent on-color card. Here there's not much for us. We're going to pick up this Puzzle Knot. If we do end up going wide, we'll be happy we got him. And there's not much harm in not taking it. And I'd rather have a Puzzle Knot over Ninth Bridge Patrol and with the cards that we have. Here's between a Mind Rot and a Dromedary. Both of these are going to be sideboard cards against different kinds of decks. This is going to be sideboard against fast and aggressive deck. This is going to be sideboard against a slower controlling deck. We're going to take the Mind Rot. Primarily because we know that we're black. Could also take the Foil Force. We could take the Gauntlet or the Dromedary. I think we're just going to pick up the Dromedary. Here we'll take the Gauntlet. Here we'll take the red. Oh, this land is just strictly better than this land. Oh, we'll take this. You never know. Morbid Curiosity is not actually awful. Given that a lot of removal in the set is enchantment based, as well as we have cards. We have like Restoration Gearsmith, which once it's on the battlefield, it's a 4-mana 3/3. So drawing 4 cards off of it isn't awful. There is nothing here for us. So here's going to be between Spire Bluff Canal and Prophetic Prism, and the only difference between the two is going to be how many tickets Spire Bluff Canal is, which I'll find out momentarily. It's only 3 tickets. That's a pack. Now we're just going to take the Prism here. Make the adult pick, take the Prism, not the card that's not going to go in our deck. Prism's also nice with like cards like Bruiser. Things like that. And if we don't end up being white as our second color, then we can easily take a black card. Or be able to splash the Gearsmith. That's what I meant to say. Here we'll pick up a Die Young. That's not Die Young, that's a Doorbuster. Would not mind any of these cards to come back around. It's probably like of these cards, the most we want to see back is the Pioneer. But Die Young is a very solid removal spell. I actually might just want the Pioneer over the Die Young simply because we have a lot of removal already. Kind of want a card draw spell. Yeah, I actually think we're going to take the Pioneer here. Simply because like we currently have 4 removal spells, but we're kind of looking more for creatures at this point. And we already have a small effect removal spell in the Impeccable Timing, the Fragmentize. If it were like a Tiding Conclusion, we might be more interested to take, or like Essence, the Essence, whatever it is. We'll take the Propeller. Here's between, we got Rush of Vitality, Prophetic Prism, and Herald of the Fair. And also Inspired Charge isn't awful in our deck, from what it looks like we might be ending up here. We just want the Prism again. Or we might just want the Herald. The Herald is something that can accrue the Charger as well as a 3-drop, which currently we have none of. But I feel like we can pick up a Herald whenever. I was going to take a Prism here. And also, like, pick. Ooh, we definitely take an Angel here. And then seeing these black cards is also great. Subtle Strike, Bruiser, Operative. Like, all 3 of these cards are... 4 of these cards are cards that we would not mind in our deck. Not so much the Lawless Broker, but... hopefully one of them comes back around. But Angel is just great. Especially if you Angel a Gearsmith. That's something that feels good in Magic. So yeah, we'll take Angel here. I don't hate Aviary Mechanic. It's a late Voltaic Brawler. There's a nice choice in Fragmentizes, especially a nice foil one. We're going to take the Aviary Mechanic here. Nice solid 2-drop. Freeze guys from removal. Also rebuys Fragmentize as well as a Restoration Gearsmith. Yeah. Here it's between Rats, Puzzle Knot, and Inspired Charge. I just don't like Rats that much at all. I think we're going to take the Inspired Charge. Just nice to have one available to us if we need it. Oh, but then we get a foil one? Punished. We're going to take the Subtle Strike here. Yep. Another Aviary Mechanic. Option of a Bomat Courier. Great on turn 1. Not great elsewhere. Yeah, we're just going to take the Mechanic here. Going to take the Scavenger. I like having the option of a Scavenger, especially if we end up against a very controlling deck. Then we bring in like Mind Rot and Scavenger just to be able to win grindy matchups. Here we'll take a Construct. Probably not necessarily play it. This is actually an interesting choice between a Rush of Vitality and Harsh Scrutiny. I'm going to take the Harsh Scrutiny just because both of these are like cards that you don't necessarily want in our deck, but the Harsh Scrutiny is going to be harder to pick up one of. I can't see main decking it. Harsh Scrutiny is fine. It's simply fine. Better than your normal discard spell because of the Scry 1. If you get something big off of it, you feel good. If you don't get something big off of it, that's generally what the card is. But worst case scenario, it's 1 mana Scry 1, which isn't good. Wow, all 3 of them came back. Wow, we're in the right color. We're going to take the Dund Operative. I like having the Death Touch. I'm not a fan of the 1 toughness, and we already have 1 Subtle Strike as well as a bunch of other removal that I think we are more looking for creatures at this point. Here we'll take 9th Bridge Patrol, which 9th Bridge Patrol and Aviary Mechanic work well as our Wispweaver Angel. Take an Aerial Responder here, most likely. Look at the rest of the pack. There's Operative, Eddy Trailhawk, and a Module. Yeah, we're just going to take Vampire Whitehawk. Would not mind this like acrobatic maneuver to come back, I don't think. That'd be fine. Boop. Oh, here we have Ghanti, and we're in black, so we're going to pick that. We go for the Thrybex, the Foundry Inspector. Foundry Inspector really just does a 3-mana 3/2. Like, it makes a handful of our cards cheaper, but nothing that's impactful. We mostly would just want it as a 3-drop. But Ghanti's just great. Colony's an interesting choice here. Could take the Reprisal to splash off of our Prisms. I also don't hate this Aetherborn. I think we're going to take the Colony. Colony unanswered is a serious threat. And then if they do find an answer that like gets a stick on the board, we do have a bunch of ways to try and like get it back to our hand with our Aviary Mechanics or our Whisper Weaver Angel. Yeah, I'm just gonna tryout colony here. Symptom or Marauder. I think we take the Marauder here. Like, both of these cards are great, but we also picked like the combo piece of Ret War Colony into Marauder. We also have 2 things with +1/+1 counters. This also gets +1/+1 counters. Yeah, we're gonna take Marauder here. Marauder's just sweet. Would not mind for either the Trafficker or the Herald to come back around. Don't think we have enough artifacts for underhand design, and we wouldn't mind, but we'd be kind of sad if what we got here was the Aphidborn. Yeah, we'll take the Marauder. Here we'll take a Glint Sleeve. Happy to see a Glint Sleeve. Fills our 3-drop, gives us something with a +1/+1 counter or something to go wide with. Would not mind Rush of Vitality coming back out of this pack, but Glint Sleeve is exactly what we're looking for at this point. Here it's between a weaker 3-drop or a strong 4-drop in these two. And I think the 4-drops are strong enough, and we have enough early drops that we'll want the Pioneer. Pioneer's just good. Flyers are just good, turns out. Yeah, we'll take the Pioneer here. Pick up another option for Impeccable Time. I was thinking do a lot. I think I do that a lot, and it's just now that I'm really realizing it. Yeah, Impeccable Timing. Who knows if we'll play both of them? Be looking at our overall curve out here. Here's between a 3rd Aviary Mechanic, a potential Ardar Express, which I don't actually hate necessarily, or an Ambitious Aetherborn. This is permanent, so we can even bounce back our Prophetic Prisms. That sounds yummy. You can bounce back our Puzzle Knots too. Yep, we'll take another Aviary Mechanic. Just versatile. Here we'll just get rid of a Spark. Actually, we're going to take this takedown. There's a world where we want to splash it. We do have 2 Prophetic Prisms. Take another Soul Strike, because why not? I definitely feel like we're in the right colors this draft. Let's see. Don't necessarily like our Puzzle Knot. Or take a Paradox of Welcome. Herald is kind of exactly what we want to see coming back around, just because we want to fill our 3-drops a little bit. Probably cutting this Subtle Strike. I think we cut a Harsh Scrutiny. I like having the ability of Fragmentize in the deck. Might want to cut one of these timings, but maybe not. We don't. Oh, we have Rush of Vitality. Perfect. Probably starts off in the sideboard. Ninth Bridge Patrol. Yeah, but nothing we have really flickers creatures as much. Like Aviary Mechanic is mostly looking to get back prisms or nothing at all. With this many Aviary Mechanics though, I'm like running both Soul Strikes a little bit more. Probably not running this Ballista Charger. Actually we probably are. We have enough 3-power creatures. I just lied to your face. Alright, so we're looking to make 3 or 4 cuts here. Probably only want 16 lands again because we have 2 prisms as well as ways to recur them. So what are we looking at? I think I think Ninth Bridge is our weakest card. Oh, I like the idea of Rush of Vitality with the Fretwork Colony. We have enough Fabricate that I like Eliminate the Competition as an option. So we have 2 hard removal spells, and 4 soft removal spells, 5 soft removal spells. I think we cut one of the subtle strikes. See, how many actual artifacts do we have? Probably not actually running the Rush of Vitality. I think if we end up in a more board stalling match, we've run Rush of Vitality. Maybe because of our heavy 2-drops, and like we want to like curve out 2-drop into attack with it, and because we're low on 3-drops, I actually like 2 subtle strikes and 1 impeccable timing over 2 impeccable timings and 1 subtle. I actually like that mentality. Because like if we go bear on turn 2, and since we're so light at 3-drops, if we attack with our bear and they're looking to block, we can easily make that into a positive thing. Plus it gives us +1/+1 counters for our Aetherborn Marauder. Yeah, that seems solid. Solid plan there. So removal is this and somewhat this. Maybe we just don't want the Bruiser. These 4-drops are exciting. No. Maybe just Ballista Charger. Just kind of a big old thing that's hard to... It's not necessarily that hard to crew with our deck. Like, a lot of our deck is able to crew it. Our mechanics not so much, but everything else does. This does, this probably does, but we don't really want to be doing that. This does. Herald of the Fair is actually kind of a weak card. This does. Yeah, we have enough things that crew the Charger that I like having the Charger. Angel's just great. Our Flyers are just great. We ended up with a pretty good deck. So I think it's probably Fragmentize gets the cut, but it's one of the first cards we bring in if we're against like an artifact heavy or a enchantment removal heavy deck. And probably just like one of the aviary mechanics is fine. Yeah, I think this seems solid. Oh, right, we didn't even need to remove an aviary mechanic because we want to run 16 lands. So then it's, do we want 2 aviary mechanics and a Fragmentize, or do we want 3 aviary mechanics and make sure that we hit a 2-drop? I think if we want like this deck with the double soul strike as well as the Prophetic Prism synergy and just the all around like functionality of aviary mechanic, we're happy having 3 of them, and then they're just probably the first thing out against cards that our opponents might play. It's also the option of the Harsh Scrutiny, Rush, Inspired Charge. Like, we have a decent sideboard look here. So I can put the... Like, if we bring in Puzzle now, we like bring in cards like Inspired Charge or things like that. We have Fragmentize and Morbid Curiosity against a heavy enchantment removal deck. Against board stall decks, we have Rush of Vitality. Against decks that we're trying to race against, we have Rush Vitality and Impeccable Timing. Against control-y decks, we have Scavenger and Mind Rot. The deck's trying to take to the sky, so we have a Splash Takedown with our 2 Prisms. Yeah, it seems solid. I think this is how we start it. Again, I could see having it be like fragmentize or harsh scrutiny instead of one of the aviary mechanics, but I think with the double subtle strike, that's hard to say. Double subtle strike, we like having to make sure we have a 2-drop. And we can make trades interesting that way. And we pretty much just want to do 8-8. Because we got double white, double black, and we kind of want both of them early. And we have Prophetic Person to help smooth out any awkward lands. So yeah, here's our deck. And we'll see you for round number 1.